Okay, this is my beautiful skirt. I just love how it sits on my body. So nice and wonderful. Oh, it just makes me feel so excited. Okay, let's go to the work. Hello guys, welcome back to my tutorial. How are you all doing? So today we'll be looking at how to make this pencil skirt. As you can see, how it is. You can see the ruffle design at the front of the skirt. So we're drafting this exact skirt for this Ghana fabric. Okay, before then, if you are new to this channel, ensure to like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell to be the first to get notified when I upload new video. For those who are watching my channel, thank you so much. I really appreciate. God bless you and keep watching. So this is a yard of Ghana fabric. So I'll fold into two because I'll be cutting the front before cutting the back part. I'll fold into two using the hip measurement plus 2 inches seam allowance. So the hip I'm working with is 38 inches divided by 4, giving 9.5. So this allowance is okay, it's more than 2 inches. So the skirt length I'll be using is 18 inches. 18 inches. Okay, this 18 inches is including seam allowance. So I would want my skirt to be at about 16 inches by the time I finish sewing it. It's a very short skirt. So this is 18 inches plus seam allowance. If you want yours longer than this, you can increase the length, but this is fine by me. So the waist I'm working with is 28 inches divided by 4 will give me 7 inches. I'm marking 7 inches on the line I made. Then from my waistline to my hip line, the distance from my waist to my hip is 8 inches. So I'll use my ruler to draw that out, to rule it out. So this is my hip line. So on the hip line, I'll take my hip measurement, which is 38 inches divided by 4 will give me 9.5. So I'll just place my tape like this and mark 9.5. On this hemming line, this skirt will not be having a slit, so it will be all that pencil. If it's pencil, you won't be able to work with it. So I will just connect, use same measurements. I'll add 2 inches. I'll measure my, so since it will not be having a slit at the back, so we want it a little bit free so I can walk freely with it. You can walk freely to this kind of skirt. So whatever I'm having on my hip, I'll measure at the hemming line, so it will be kind of straight. As you can see, the picture is straight. It's not pencil because it's not having a slit. So I'll just take same measurement on the hemming line. So 9.5, I'll mark 9.5 here as well. This is the hemming line. So what we'll be doing next is to add our seam allowance to all the measurements we've taken. So on my waistline, I'll add 2 inches seam allowance. My hip line, I'll also add 2 inches seam allowance. And on my hemming line, I'll add 2 inches seam allowance. Then I'll use my ruler to connect all the lines together. So from my hip line to my hemming line, I'll just connect it together like this. Then from the hemming line, from the hip line to the waistline, I'll use my hip curve to connect it together. Okay, so this is what I'm having here. So on this waist area, the front part, I'll come down by 1 inch for the waist slope. Come down by 1 inch here. Then I'll just connect it together. Okay, so this is what I'm having. So I'll just go ahead and trim this off. This is the front part of the skirt. So I'll trim this off now. Okay, so this is my skirt. So I'll be using this to cut the back part. Fabric unfold. So I'll just place the front on it. Before then, I'll mark 1 inch for zipper allowance. And you want the pattern to be same at the hemming line, so you have to adjust it to be at this point because of the pattern. Then I'll just mark 1 inch. So this is already at about 1 inch. I'll connect in a straight line, mark 1 inch, then I'll connect. Okay, so this is my zipper allowance. So I'll just place the front on the line I made. Ensure the fabric is equal. Okay, then at this back part, we came down by 1 inch for the slope, for the waist slope. For you to have your balance, the back needs to be higher than the front, so put back the 1 inch we took from the back. So add 1 inch extra to the waistline of the back skirt. Then you connect to this hip area, this other end, ensuring it's equal at the hip area. Just connect like this. Okay, you trace out same thing. It has to be equal at this point. It has to be equal here. You're only going up at the center area, that's the zipper area, for it to have a balance at the waistline. So I'll just strip this off. Okay, so I'll open up the zipper allowance. So this is what I'm having for both the front and the back. So I'll take off the back part since we're working only on the front part to make the ruffles. So this is the front part of my skirt. My ruffles will be around the hip line area. That's this line we already have drawn out here. So I'll just connect it to the end of the skirt. What we'll be doing now is to derive the ruffles at the front. So at this right hand side, you place your skirt like this. The right hand side, which is this part, this is the right hand side and this is the left hand side. At the right hand side, you use your hip line, while at the left hand side you just come down by 3 inches. You mark 3 inches at this point. Then at the hemming line for the left hand side, you come up by 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches. Okay, we use 4 inches on this part too. You come up by 4 inches. So you come down here by 3 inches on the waistline. From the waistline, you come down by 3 inches here. While on the hemming line, you go up by 4 inches. So we'll measure the distance from these 3 inches to the 4 inches we marked. So what I'm having here is 11 inches. So from the hip line on the right hand side, you just come down by 4.5 inches here. That's from here to here. That's how it will be. You can as well take this down a little. You can just mark 3 inches here. I think we should take it down a little. 3 inches here. So we're having a total of 12 inches. So what I'll do now, I'll connect the line from this part to this part to serve as a guide. That's from the 3 inches we came down. So from the hip line we came down by 4.5 inches. So from that 4.5 inches, I'll connect it to this 3 inches we marked at the left hand side. Like to be in a slanty way, you just connect it straight. Okay, And on this waistline you just go up by 2 inches on the waistline. On the hip line, from the hip line you go up by 2 inches on the right hand side, then you come down by 3 inches. Then you connect the lines together, you connect it to this area in a slanting way. Then this will connect to this. This is where the ruffle is going to be. Start from this point like this to meet this point. So this is how it is. On the right hand side you go up by 2 inches. On the right hand side along the hip area, this is the right hand side, you come up by 2 inches. Then from that hip area again, hip line, you come down by 3 inches. While on the left hand side you mark 3 inches downward from your hip line. So this is 3 inches downward from your lip. On the left hand side you mark 3 inches downward from your hip line. Then from that hip line you come down by, on the left hand side, from the hip line you come down by 7.5 inches. You can see how it is. Okay, I'll go over it again. On the right hand side, from the hip line you marked, you go up by 2 inches and come down by 3 inches. While on this point, from the waistline you come down by 3 inches. Then from the hip line on the left hand side you go down by 3 inches. You can as well mark from the hemming line, you come up here by 3 inches. Then from the waistline you come down by 3 inches. So that's it. I'll just cut out a length of, you mark this side like this. From the distance from the left hand side, what I'm having here is total of 12 inches. This will be like to make the ruffles at the center part of the front skirt. So I'll cut a piece which is at about 13.5 inches long. Because of the folding, we have to fold the both edge. So I'll cut a straight piece of 13.5 inches, or you can use 13 inches long. So this is the straight piece I'll be using for it. It's same length with the skirt. So all I will need to do is to twist one part of it. But before twisting it, I'll fold the both edges in order not to make it rough. Just fold the both edges, the up and the down. Then what we'll do now, we'll just twist over one part like this. You just twist it with your hand like this, just one part of it like this. Then you sew on this area. You sew it on the front part of the skirt. You twist only one part. Then you place it like this. You can see what I'm doing. You can as well pin it down. Just twist one part. And you make sure it's on the hip line. Then you place it. You place it like this. Just twist gently. But before then, I'll fold the edges. Okay, this is how it will look like. I just pinned it to the dress. You can see the ruffles. I just twisted it like I said I would do. So this is it. You can just as well fold it a little. Arrange it based on the way you want it to be. You can see how it is. So I'll just match it on both sides before turning my skirt with my lining. So I'll cut out lining with same pattern where I cut the material. I'll just use the lining to turn both the lower part and the both side before attaching a band to the waistline. So this is all about the ruffles. Okay, I've turned the back part of the skirt. This is the back part. So at this point now I would like to take the measurement. I also turned the lower part like I said I would do, and the side area. At the waistline I'll cut a fabric to pipe the waist. I'll just pipe the waist round. That's after I must have shaping the skirt. And this is the front part of the skirt. You can see how it's looking beautiful. You can see my front design. I used the lining to turn the lower part of the skirt and the side area. So I'll do same thing. I'll just pipe the waistline like I said I'll do for the back part after shaping the skirt. So what we'll do now is to impute the body measurement on the skirt. So we'll start with our waist measurement. I'll mark from the waist area, I'll mark 8 inches for my zipper. Where my zip is going to sit. So from this side to this side is where my zip is going to end. So I'll take the waist measurement, which is 28 inches, divide by 4 will give me 7 inches. So from this marked area, which is my zipper allowance, I'll place my tape like this and mark 7 inches. So I'll come down by 8 inches and mark for my hip line. So on this line I just created, I'll take my hip measurement, which is 38 inches, divide by 4 will give me 9.5. So I'll mark 9.5 here. Then on the waistline I'll take same measurement, 9.5. So I'll just connect the line together. I'm not making the lower part pencil because it's not having a slit. So I'll just connect my lines together. Okay, so this is what I'll be having. So I'll take the same measurement at the other part of the skirt, then I'll shaping it up. Insert my zip at the back part, then pipe the waistline. So that's all for the skirt. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if this is your first time, please ensure you like, share and subscribe. Bye. See you in my next video.